This was the single transaction that finally exposed Kofi Boat to the FBI, leading to his arrest along with his team after allegedly stealing over $100 million from Americans. Kofi Boat and his associates have now been extradited to the United States, and wicked blogger Ghana is breaking down exactly what led to their downfall, a cautionary tale for anyone tempted by greed. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, now is the time. Hit the thumbs up button and stay tuned, because we are about to reveal not just the methods these fraudsters used, but also the step-by-step formats they followed. For newcomers or anyone wanting to protect themselves, this is essential knowledge. Kofi Boat's story reads like a crime thriller. For years, he was allegedly part of a tightly organized network targeting victims across the United States, Europe, and parts of Asia. Their methods were sophisticated: romance scams, business email compromise, and other internet fraud schemes designed to separate unsuspecting victims from their money. Using multiple false identities, Kofi Boat built online personas that looked authentic enough to earn trust quickly. In romance scams, he posed as a wealthy businessman, a U.S. military officer stationed overseas, or a high-ranking official working on international projects. Vulnerable victims, often lonely and seeking companionship, were drawn into long online relationships. Slowly, they were persuaded to send money, sometimes large sums under the pretext of urgent medical bills, legal fees, travel expenses, or business investments. In corporate schemes, the team targeted finance departments with highly convincing fraudulent emails. These emails came from addresses almost identical to legitimate company domains and referenced ongoing transactions, tricking employees into wiring money to accounts controlled by the fraudsters. The scale of the operations was massive. Millions of dollars moved through complex laundering channels to obscure the origins. Kofi Boat allegedly coordinated with accomplices across multiple countries, routing money through accounts in the United States, Europe, and Asia before funneling it to Ghana, Nigeria, and other West African countries. Money mules, often unaware of the full scheme, moved these funds for a small commission. The FBI had been watching Kofi Boat for months, mapping his methods, associates, and financial patterns. The breakthrough came with what authorities now say was his last major transaction before capture, a wire transfer of several $100,000 linked to a fake oil equipment deal. The money came from a US-based company after an executive's email was compromised. This set off banking alerts and drew the attention of federal investigators. Once the FBI identified accounts tied to Kofi Boat, they worked with Ghanaian authorities to track his movements. Surveillance showed him frequenting upscale residences, internet cafes, and clandestine meetings with co-conspirators. Armed with this intelligence, Ghanaian law enforcement, acting on the FBI's request, arrested him. Laptops, phones, hard drives, and detailed handwritten financial records were seized during the raid. After his arrest, the extradition process began. The FBI presented the Ghanaian courts with extensive evidence: email records, intercepted communications, and testimony from victims. Weeks later, the court approved his transfer to US jurisdiction. He was flown to New York under FBI escort, where he was booked into federal custody. In the United States, prosecutors charged Kofi Boat with wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and money laundering. Each charge carries lengthy prison terms. Authorities are also seeking to seize assets allegedly gained through fraud, including real estate, luxury cars, and electronics. The indictment lists several serious charges: wire fraud conspiracy, up to 20 years. Wire fraud, up to 20 years. Money laundering conspiracy, up to 20 years. Conspiracy to receive stolen money, up to 5 years. Receipt of stolen money, up to 10 years. If convicted on all counts, he could face up to 75 years behind bars. The final sentence will, of course, be decided by the presiding US judge. This case illustrates not only the global reach of cybercrime, but also how law enforcement agencies can collaborate across borders. It highlights the painstaking process of tracking financial crime, from identifying suspicious transactions to dismantling entire criminal networks. According to documents verified by the FBI and wicked blogger Ghana, Kofi Boat and his collaborators began defrauding victims across the United States, including the Southern District of New York, from 2016 until May 2023. The documents describe how Kofi Boat, Pascal, Van, Borga, and their associates willfully and knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together to commit money laundering, wire fraud, and receiving stolen money. Correspondence among the accused revealed how stolen funds were shared. On or about June 4th, 2020, Patrick Kwame Asare, also known as Borga, sent a co-conspirator $187,000 from Roman scams for laundering. On or about June 16, 2020, Isaac Oduro Boateng, known as Kofi Boat, transferred $200,000 to a co-conspirator for laundering. On or about August 28, 2020, Inusa Ahmed, known as Pascal, moved $300,000 for laundering. On or about September 3, 2020, Derek Van Yeboah, known as Van, had a victim transfer $18,500 to a co-conspirator. The stolen funds were then laundered to West Africa, largely funneled to individuals called chairmen, who directed other members of the conspiracy. Kofi Boat and Pascal were considered chairmen. Nothing in Kofi Boat's accounts raised flags until he received a wire of $300,000 from another team of scammers he normally buys cheap dollars from and pays them in lower rates in their local currency. He intended to use it to purchase his frozen food items abroad. The funds were transferred across state lines to a bank account in the Southern District of New York. The victim of the money reported the case to authorities in America, and they launched a thorough investigation into the money, which led them to the doorsteps of Kofi Boat, the final recipient of the money. That single transfer alerted the FBI, who discovered he had been scamming for years. Investigators traced multiple accounts, receiving large sums from him, identifying recurring recipients, and eventually moving in for arrest. He has stolen millions and nearly escaped justice, but a single $300,000 transaction led to his downfall. The lesson is clear. Knowing when to stop and resisting greed can make the difference between freedom and life behind bars. That concludes our detailed breakdown of the Kofi Boat case, showing just how far cybercriminals can go and how law enforcement tracks them across borders. This story serves as a strong reminder that no matter how clever a scheme may seem, there is always accountability, and a single mistake can bring years of freedom crashing down. If you found this video insightful, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, share with friends and family, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest investigations, exposés, and insider stories. Here at Wicked Blogger Ghana, we are committed to uncovering the truth and giving you information that helps you stay informed, stay alert, and avoid falling victim to scams. We cover everything from high-profile fraud cases to street-level scams, and we show you exactly how these networks operate so you can see both the risks and the lessons they leave behind. Your support helps us continue bringing you these stories in full detail. Stay vigilant, protect your assets, and never underestimate the reach of cybercrime. Keep following Wicked Blogger Ghana for more shocking revelations, detailed investigations, and stories that matter. Because knowing the truth is the first step to staying safe.